Hello everyone ඔගොල්ලෝ ගොඩාක් ආදරෙන් අපේ channel එකට පිළිගන්නවා Lankan vlogs. ඉතින් අද අපි ලෑස්ති වෙලා ඉන්නේ ඉතාමත් වැදගත් වීඩියෝ එකකට තමයි. මොකද ඔයගොල්ලෝ හැමෝම දන්නවා කැනඩාවේ international student rules and regulations වෙනස් වුණා. ඒ වගේම කැනඩාවේ නීති රීති ගොඩක් දුරට විශාල වශයෙන් වෙනස් වීමකට ලක් වුණා මේ ළඟදී. ඉතින් ඒක නිසා අපි තීරණය කරා ඔයගොල්ලන්ට තවමත් ඉන්ටර්නැෂනල් ස්ටුඩන්ට්ස්ලා ඇක්සෙප්ට් කරන ඒ වගේම ඔයගොල්ලන්ට PR පාත් එක දක්වා යන්න පුළුවන් කොලෙජ් එකක් ගැන කතා කරන්න. ඉතින් ඒක තමයි Northern Lights College. ඉතින් Northern Lights College ගැන කතා කරන්න තමයි අද අපි ලෑස්ති වෙලා ඉන්නේ. ඒ වගේම තමයි අද කතා බහට එක්වන Northern Lights College වල Associate Vice President සහ Peace Valley Education ආයතනය එහෙමත් නැත්නම් Northern Lights College නියෝජනය කරන ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ representatives ලයි ඔයගලන්ට හම්බෙන්න පුළුවන් ලබන සතියේ ලංකාවේදී. ඉතින් ඒක නිසා තමයි අපි අද මේ වීඩියෝ එක කරන්න කියලා හිතුවේ. එහෙනම් දිගටම වීඩියෝ එකත් එක්ක රැඳින්න කියලා ආරාධනා කරනවා. Right, so let's welcome Mr. Scott Clark for our discussion.
Thank
Hi,
you,
Scott.
Nadine. Hi there. How are you?
Oh, I'm very well. How are you? You good?
I'm fantastic. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Glad to be connecting with you from the campus here at Northern Lights College.
Oh, sounds good. Could you kindly share a little bit about yourself, please?
Sure. So my name's Scott Clark. I work at a small Canadian college called Northern Lights College. That's that image in the background you see of our campus. I'm an associate vice president at the college. One of the things that I'm responsible for at the college is welcoming international students onto our campus and supporting them in building a life through education. I of course live in the same town where the college is located. That's Dawson Creek in the far north of British Columbia. And I've lived in BC now for about 6 years with my wife and kids.
All right. Okay, then let's talk about the Northern Lights College.
Sure thing. So Northern Lights College is one of the many public colleges in Canada, right? So we serve a purpose across all of Canada, serving our local communities, providing access to post-secondary education for our local communities, from students across Canada, and in many cases for students from around the world. Colleges in Canada typically offer a mix of academic programs, vocational programs, and also trades and apprenticeship training. We have campuses in the various communities that we serve in Northeast British Columbia. So, you know, most people and certainly your viewers back home likely might know of Vancouver in British Columbia, but there's a lot more to British Columbia than Vancouver. And we're located in the far north corner of the province. The two main campuses that support international students are in Dawson Creek and in Fort St. John.
Sounds good. So tell me about the life in Northern British Columbia, please.
Oh, you know, it's a great life. You know, I'm originally from Ontario, and I understand that you live in Ontario as well. And you know, Ontario is great. I was born and raised there, and love it. But life in British Columbia, especially in the remote north, there's something very special about it. You know, sometimes people get those images in their head of Canada where people walk out of their house and there's a moose walking out in front of their house, which in Ontario or anywhere near a big city is by no means the case. But that's actually true where I live. I've had that experience many times where I walk out of my house and there's a beautiful giant moose walking along the street or a group of deer running through the street. And so it's a very vibrant local economy. There's lots of job opportunities. They're the types of communities that tend to have to bring people in from elsewhere, whether it's from other corners of Canada or from around the world, to kind of help fill those gaps and make sure that local businesses can stay in business and have enough people.
Yeah, that's interesting. My next question, of course, my viewers knows the answer for this, but I will ask this question for new viewers because the thing is, I did a video sometimes back with one of your students. So my viewers,
Yes, possibly with Rebecca.
exactly, Rebecca.
Yes, yes.
So, of course, I know the answer for this question, but I will ask this question for new viewers. Do we have Sri Lankan students studying in your college right now?
We do indeed. We do indeed. We are a smaller college, so we don't have a massive amount of international students the way that some of the bigger Ontario colleges or the bigger kind of big city colleges might. But we have a great community of Sri Lankan students. Sri Lankan students, I think, are actually the fourth or fifth largest group of students that we have at the college, which I think is unique. That's not common at many Canadian colleges that you could say that, or Canadian universities. But we were able to form a great partnership with Peace Valley Education with Geraldine and Roshan, and we'll maybe talk a little bit about them more in later in the talk. But there's a really personal Sri Lanka Northern Lights College connection. They sent their son to study in Canada, and they chose Northern Lights College. This was back kind of before the pandemic, maybe even close to 10 years ago, because he's now settled in Canada in one of our communities.
Yeah.
Um, and they decided that they would turn this into a project for themselves to kind of create that bridge for Sri Lankans to be able to go to Canada, study, work, and live in Canada,
Yeah,
right?
that's right. I
Um,
actually did a video with them. I will just
okay. Yes.
put a card, link a card here so then people can watch that too.
Oh,
Uh,
perfect.
we had a good discussion with them too.
Yeah, they're wonderful folks. And they even named their business after the region of Northern Lights College. So you might wonder, like, what's Peace Valley, right? So the area in British Columbia where I live, I was calling it Northeast BC, but the other name for it is the Peace Region.
Okay.
Because the major river in the region where I live is called the Peace River. Therefore, it's the Peace Valley. And so they have the bridge that they built has been very successful. We've had a number of Sri Lankan students. Um, we've had Sri Lankan students that have been president of our student council. Um, we've had Sri Lankan students that have graduated and then have been hired by the college, and they now work with the college.
Mhm.
Uh, so they're seeing great success. And ultimately, we really want to kind of build that community of Sri Lankan students in Northeast BC at the college.
Let's move to the next question.
Sounds
So with the so many changes, I mean, you and me and everybody knows that we have a lot of changes for international students right now. So with that, is it still open for foreign students?
It really is. It really is, and I definitely understand that both current students and future students, people that are overseas in Sri Lanka or any other country of the world that were perhaps planning or dreaming of coming to study in Canada, they got the sense that, oh, Canada's closing its doors. Canada is not going to allow international students to come in. And that's not the case at all. It's true that the government has aimed at a reduction of international students. Much of that was driven by the massive numbers of international students coming to the big cities. So coming to Toronto or the Toronto region, coming to Vancouver or the Vancouver region. And what we hear in our small communities, so again, like the backdrop behind me, Dawson Creek, is that the local community, the local mayor, the local business owners, they really want to see those international students continue to come to Dawson Creek and to Fort St. John. They're an important part of our community. When we invite somebody into the college, not only are we, looking forward to them being part of our campus community for a couple of years, we're hoping that afterwards they're going to get a work permit and they're going to stay and they're going to contribute. And we've served so many international students that have taken that path. So yes, the college is very much very, very much open to international students. We'll be, in fact, traveling to Sri Lanka just next week. I think we'll probably talk about that as well.
Yeah.
We've been able to update many of our programs and create new programs so that they remain postgraduate work permit eligible. I know that was one of the other fears is that there was a perception that students could not come to a Canadian college and be able to access that postgraduate work permit so that they could stay after graduation and continue working. So we now have a kind of a full suite of programs across the board that would retain that postgraduate work permit eligibility. We did a lot of work over the past year to make that happen. And so we're trying to do all the right things to make sure that Northern Lights College remains completely open to international students and that international students can come join our communities, join our campus, and be successful.
Yeah, that's interesting. So my next question is, I have heard that it's hard to find a place to live. It's hard to find a job for international foreign students. So, is that true in your community?
You know what? Not at all. And also, I'll recognize that across Canada, and again, particularly in the big cities, that has become such a big pressure for international students. And we keep hearing about international students in places like Brampton, Mississauga, Surrey, Vancouver, making videos, making TikToks about how don't come to Canada. There's no housing. Don't come to Canada. You can't, there's 100 people fighting for every job. And I'm not here to deny that that might be true in the bigger cities. I can just speak to my experience in Northeast BC. But our experience is that our students are able to find part-time work so that they can earn a living while they study. Our students are able to find jobs after graduation. And again, one of the big reasons why that's the case is because we have a really small population, but we have a very active economy. Because this is the corner of British Columbia that produces natural gas and oil. There's a lot of construction projects around hydroelectric, transportation, other areas of natural resources, and so there's there's more demand for labor than there is supply. And in terms of housing, again, small population. So the cost of housing is significantly less. I think the average cost to rent an apartment is less than half of what it would cost in Vancouver or Toronto, maybe even something like around 40% of that cost. That building you actually see behind me, that is our student residence in Dawson Creek. And so if you're a new student and you're arriving into the country, you're able to access student housing on top of just normal housing in the community.
And if you had to choose, why would a Sri Lankan student come to Northern Light College?
Great question. If you're a Sri Lankan and you are planning on or even thinking about coming for study to Canada, and whether that's strictly just to study or perhaps you have this vision of studying and working at the same time, aiming to get that post-grad work permit, and those two combined are typically about 5 years. And then even have that longer term vision of trying to apply in for permanent residence. Northern Lights College, I would argue, is a very, very strong option for you. We're one of the lowest cost public colleges in all of Canada. We are the lowest cost public college in British Columbia and BC for international students. Our tuition rates change year to year, but our tuition is around 12 to 13,000 Canadian dollars a year right now, which is significantly less than what you would pay at a college anywhere in Ontario, for example. Housing costs are lower, job availability is relatively higher. The minimum wage in British Columbia and BC is relatively higher compared to the rest of the country. And we have small welcoming communities that are looking for international students to join us, that are eager to support them, and kind of like an easy life. You can in Dawson Creek, you can live on campus or live in one of those houses behind my head there, walk to campus, maybe find a job at a supermarket or a coffee shop just across the street. So the scale of life um, makes it for a kind of a quiet, simple life. It's not for everybody, by no means. If you need the hustle and bustle of the big city, um, if you need to kind of stop for a moment, stick your head out the window, and hear a lot of noise, it's not a great place for you. But if you kind of like a more of a tranquil, relaxed lifestyle, it's wonderful.
All right. Can you tell us more about the Rural Community Immigration Pilot Program, please?
Oh, sure. Yeah, so the Rural Community Immigration Pilot Program, it's a new federal program here in Canada. So the federal government and the ministry responsible for Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada, which we call IRCC, they recently launched this program across Canada in about 15 communities. And in each of these communities, the local organizations, local municipal governments have the ability to directly sponsor people for permanent residency. So it's a tool for small communities across Canada that are needing help attracting immigrants into their communities. Um, and it allows those communities to be able to take somebody who is a temporary worker, could be an international student that just graduated and has a post-grad work permit, and it allows them to sponsor or nominate that person for permanent residence, and um, allows them to do that without necessarily going through the longer and more competitive process that generally permanent residents in Canada have to go through. So it's a great new tool for small communities to attract and retain, to welcome and keep and integrate newcomers and immigrants into our communities. So we're really proud that our region in Northeast BC was able to get that. So we're just in the process of launching that now. The federal government just announced it a few weeks ago. The college is actually directly involved in the project, co-leading it locally. And one of the things that we're excited about with this pilot is, the college, of course, we go out into the world and we try and draw folks from around the world, including, of course, from Sri Lanka. So we draw Sri Lankan students. They come, they study, they work, they start building a life, they get a post-grad work permit. We would love to see as many as possible stay in our communities.
Sounds interesting. So before we wrap up, I would like to share a good news with our viewers. Scott and the Peace Valley Education team will be in Colombo very soon, right? So
Indeed.
yeah, so if you want to go and meet them, you're more than welcome to do so. That will be 23rd of March on Sunday, next Sunday, 23rd of March between 2 to 5 you can go and meet them, and it's a free event. Of course you can go, but before you go you will have to register for the event. I will update all the details in my description box, so you can just go and register. And Scott, are you excited to go to Sri Lanka?
I'm so excited. I've never been to Sri Lanka. I've been to South Asia before. I've been to other parts of Asia before. This is going to be my first trip to Sri Lanka. I'm going with another one of the senior leaders of the college. So our Vice President, Academic and Research, Dr. Tara Hyland Russell. And she's kind of the head of all of the educational programs that we offer at the college. So her and I will be traveling to Colombo just next week, and that's exactly right. We're hosting an event with Peace Valley Education with PVE downtown Colombo at a downtown hotel. That's Sunday, March 23rd, 2 p.m. I can't wait to just see the sights, smell the smells, see the beautiful ocean right up against Colombo. Try the food. I will try and just pack as much as I can into the 2 days that I'm
Yeah,
there.
it's a beautiful
Um,
country. Yes, you can go around.
exactly, and try and pick up a little bit of the local culture. Maybe I'll have to practice some Sinhala words uh,
Yeah.
and impress.
Ayubowan.
Sorry,
Ayubowan.
Ayubowan.
Yeah. Like
What
you
does that
say,
mean?
welcome, like Ayubowan.
Ayubowan.
Yeah.
How do you say thank you?
Stuti.
Stuti.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll make sure I practice that. Stuti.
Yeah. All right. So I'm sure you will have wonderful time there. And of course, the viewers, you can go and meet them personally. Don't forget that will be next week. So 23rd March from 2 to 5 at Golf Face Hotel. So you can just
Yes, and
reserve
Naomi,
your.
can I share another piece of information that I forgot to mention?
Yeah,
Uh,
sure.
we're actually so at the event, we've got a couple of incentives for people to go. If if you're anywhere near Colombo on the March 23rd, and you're thinking of studying in Canada, we're actually going to be giving out some scholarships to the college. I think the total amount was something like 2 million Sri Lankan rupees. It's about 10,000 Canadian dollars, including the grand prize, I believe, is a $4,000 scholarship. And you have to be in attendance to win one of the scholarships. And anybody that attends, if you're interested in applying to Northern Lights College, um, usually it's $100 fee. We're going to waive that fee specifically for the people that come to that event. So if you are dreaming and planning of study in Canada, come learn more with us. I'd love to meet your viewers in person, and maybe I can practice my Sinhala with them. There'll be lots of opportunity to say stuti. That's an easier one to remember.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. All right, Scott, thank you for joining us. I am so happy to see you. And then, well, I wish you all the very best for your upcoming event in Sri Lanka.
Well, hold on. Let me ask you a quick question. What's so for somebody going to Colombo for the very first time, what's the one thing that I can't miss?
Our beach.
The beach,
Yeah, the beach. And the crab.
the
Yeah, Sri
crab.
Lankan crab. Yeah. I
Gotta eat the crab.
Yeah, you got to eat the crab. Actually, it's close to your hotel. There's a place called Ministry of Crab. You can go and
Mystery
have
of
a look.
crab.
Yeah,
Okay.
or you can actually try the hotel food as well. Oh my God, it's amazing. I have been to that hotel. I've stayed there. Oh, it's so good.
Okay. Okay. I will make sure I do that.
And the tea, Ceylon tea, Sri Lanka.
Ceylon, yeah, Ceylon tea. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I will definitely squeeze as much as I can in the time that I'm there. Ministry of Crab. I'll remember that one.
Huh?
I definitely will hit the beach.
Yep.
Um, and I really appreciate this, Nayani.
Oh, no problem.
Stuti.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Yeah, we will see you with another collaborating video then. Yeah.
Sounds great.
Yeah. Okay. All right then. Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. ඉතින් එහෙනම් අදට ගිහිල්ලා එන්නම් ඔක්කොම details මම description box එකේ දාන්නම්. අමතක කරන්න එපා 23rd March 2 to 5 at Goldface Hotel. All right? එහෙනම් ගිහිල්ලා එන්නම්. ජය වේවා.